When I was 9, I heard a murder happened at the neighbor's home, but unlike normal kids, I didn't run away. Instead, I stepped closer to observe carefully. Soon I realized the police had made a mistake in their judgment, and pointed out it was a crime committed by someone the victim knew. The killer was most likely still in the building. The captain immediately asked whose kid I was, and told someone to get my guardian. My sister quickly said I was her younger brother, and that we lived across the hall in 602. Once they knew I was a family member of an officer, the captain calmed down, and asked to hear my thoughts in detail. He asked if I had witnessed anything, but I said I was in my room gaming when I heard a scream. I didn't see what happened. That only made him more interested. He asked why I was sure it was someone familiar to the victim. So I began breaking down my reasoning. First, no one left the building after the crime, so we could rule out an outsider. Second, there were signs of struggle, but the body was found by the sofa, and the floor showed no signs of dragging, so the victim let the killer in voluntarily. Third, the weapon was a fruit knife from the victim's home, which meant it wasn't premeditated. The intent to kill arose in the moment. Lastly, there were no signs that it was a robbery. The deputy captain interrupted and said the scene was clearly looted. I argued it was staged to mislead, because the crime happened at 9 p.m., when most neighbors were still awake. A real thief wouldn't risk it, and a real robber would have taken the jewelry first. Everyone looked at the body, and sure enough, the gold ring was still on her finger. This further confirmed my theory. The captain was amazed by my logic and perception. I calmly replied I grew up in a family of detectives, and was used to analyzing crime scenes, but what they didn't know was that I was actually someone from another world. I used to be the world's #1 hacker, and a most wanted criminal genius. After too many crimes, I was struck by lightning as punishment. Full of regret, I swore to be a good person next life. Then I woke up in the body of a 9-year-old boy, born into a police family. Thankfully, my new background explained my abnormal reasoning skills, so no one suspected anything. 3 days passed, but the police still hadn't caught the killer. That day, while my sister was asleep after a night shift, I sneaked a look at her case file. I found that the case should have been solved long ago, but they were misled by wrong assumptions. Then I noticed something in the statement of the old man on the first floor. He said he heard a scream at 9 p.m., so I cross-referenced all witness statements, and quickly identified a suspect. Next, I hacked into the Water Bureau's backend, and checked water usage data. It confirmed all my deductions. I woke my sister up and reported the lead. She immediately informed the task force, and said there was a breakthrough. I explained, if the scream really happened in the 6th floor apartment, the old man couldn't have heard it due to his hearing loss. The police had tested the decibel level of the scream, but overlooked his partial deafness. Even I heard the scream while wearing headphones and behind 3 doors, which didn't make sense. So the scream happened in the hallway, not inside, but the body was inside the apartment. This meant the scream was staged to mislead, and since neighbors gathered quickly, the killer had no chance to escape, so they stayed at the scene disguised among the crowd. The 7th floor had elders and an empty flat, so we could rule them out. On the 5th floor, Unit 501 was a single man. Unit 502 was a family of 3 with no motive. Based on the statements, the man in 501 was the first to discover the body. He also broke the door, and all footprints inside belonged to him. I concluded he was the killer, though the captain agreed with my logic. He couldn't arrest based on my word alone, but I was prepared. I said the crime scene had massive blood loss, so the killer must have had blood on him, and would have showered and washed his clothes. So his water usage that day would spike. The captain called the Water Bureau, and soon got confirmation. Unit 501 used way more water than normal. The captain was fully convinced. Meanwhile, the man in 501 was spying out his window watching the police cars. Then a knock on the door startled him. He heard it was me, and relaxed a little, but also felt something was off. Why would I come this late at night? He instinctively looked toward the kitchen knife,